Man, this might fly under the radar for a lot of folks, but I think there's a quiet move being built inside the Browns organization, and it might say way more about their offensive plan than any obvious wide receiver pick. Because while everyone's locked in on that glaring WR need, Cleveland might be thinking in a totally different direction. And honestly, maybe smarter than it looks at first glance. Over the past few days, the Browns brought in Kenyon Sadiq, a tight end out of Oregon, one of the more intriguing prospects in this draft. And here's where it gets interesting. He's not just another TE. This dude's got rare physical traits, steady production, and most importantly, versatility. So why does that matter? Because Cleveland is coming off a season where the receiving core just flat out didn't get it done. No exaggeration, it was one of the least impactful groups in the league. Even with names like Jerry Jeudy, the passing game had no identity, no consistent threat, no rhythm. Now enter Todd Monken. That's the key piece right there. Monken isn't the kind of OC who needs a bunch of superstar wideouts to cook. He's shown it before, especially in Baltimore and Georgia. He likes working with multiple tight ends, creating mismatches and mixing up formations. So when you see Cleveland taking a hard look at a first-round TE, that ain't random. That's philosophy. Now let's talk about what really matters, how this plays out on the field. The Browns already have Harold Fannin Jr., who was probably the biggest offensive surprise last season. And it's important to understand his profile. He's not your traditional inline tight end. He's mobile, explosive after the catch, almost like a hybrid weapon. Now imagine pairing that with a guy like Sadiq. You're not just adding talent, you're building a different kind of system. Two tight ends who can line up all over, inline in the slot, even split out wide depending on the look, that forces defenses into tough choices. Put a linebacker on them, you're getting cooked on speed. Bring in a safety, now you're giving up size and strength double one. Someone else is eating. That completely changes the QB's pre-snap read. And that leads to another major point. The Browns still don't have clarity at the most important position in football. Deshaun Watson is a huge question mark. Shedeur Sanders is still a project. Dylan Gabriel's kind of on the outside looking in. So whoever's starting week 1 is going to need help. Now ask yourself, is it easier to support a young or inconsistent QB with unreliable wide receivers, or a structured system with multiple versatile targets? In reality, reliable tight ends are safety valves. They help with progressions, simplify reads, and cut down mistakes. So maybe Cleveland isn't ignoring the WR need. Maybe they're just trying to solve it differently. Now let's be real. I like the idea. But there's risk. Does it make sense in Monken's system? Yeah. Does it give the offense a clearer identity? Absolutely. But there's one thing you can't ignore. You still need someone who can consistently get separation on the outside. Right now, the Browns' WR group doesn't scare anybody. And betting on Jeudy to suddenly turn into a true WR1 after what we've seen? That's, let's just say, pretty optimistic, dog pound. So structurally, the move makes sense, but it might leave a hole. Let's break it down real quick. Best case scenario, Sadiq comes in, hits the ground running, Fannin keeps leveling up, and the Browns build one of the toughest offenses in the league to defend. Not because they're explosive, but because they're unpredictable. A system built on motion, play action, and constant mismatches. That makes life way easier for the QB, whoever that ends up being. Middle ground. The TE duo works well, but the offense is still limited because there's no real outside threat. Efficient? Sure. Explosive? Not really. Worst case scenario, they pass on an elite WR in the draft, go all in on tight ends, and the offense still stalls because defenses don't respect the deep passing game. Now you've got a roster-building problem on your hands. There's one detail people aren't talking about enough, but it matters. Andrew Berry said they view pass catchers globally. That's not just front office talk. It means they're not locked into the traditional WR1 plus WR2 plus WR3 setup. They're thinking, who can catch the ball and make plays? That includes tight ends, running backs, hybrid players. It's a modern approach, but it requires near-perfect execution. Because if the talent isn't there, that philosophy falls apart fast. At the end of the day, drafting a tight end in the first round isn't just about the player. It's about the direction of the Browns' offense. It's about how this team wants to line up and go to work. And most importantly, it's about how they plan to protect and develop whoever's under center. Now I gotta ask you, if you were in the Browns' front office, are you riding with this more structural approach with two strong tight ends? Or are you going the obvious route and grabbing a wide receiver to fix things the traditional way? Because real talk, this decision might define this offense's ceiling in 2026.